Hi YouTube, this is Andrew Tompkins here. So I wanted to talk in this next video, give some thoughts on the Ravenscroft app. So my last video that I posted concerned that weird audio glitch with the Ravenscroft app, to where I'd be playing and at random intervals it would just start to squeal when using the sustain pedal. Well, unfortunately, now with the latest update of Ravenscroft, there's another glitch. The keyboard itself, when I use the same setup, the same connections, same everything, the keyboard notes aren't registering in the app. When I turn off VoiceOver and use the on-screen keyboard just for the heck of it, the notes play fine. They will not play when triggered from the hardware keyboard. And so I'm not sure if this is a bug or what, but it's certainly, I'm going to confess it, it's annoyance. It's a frustration and inconvenience that the UV Labs team needs to address. And the purpose of this video, really, this is intended for mainly the blind, since I'm visually impaired myself. But I just wanted to say that a lot of apps, and it's not even to do with music, but just apps in general, for iOS, for Mac, for just everywhere in between, the direction we're going in is not a good one for disabled people. They're becoming less and less accessible, so that people who, like myself, use the VoiceOver screen reader program or the magnification programs, they're becoming less and less user-friendly to them. It's all about looking great visually, graphical interfaces. It needs to have this decoration or ornaments or whatever they might use. They're losing sight of accessibility. They're not thinking about it anymore. I'm not opinionating. This is a fact, people. I am not trying to be biased. I am not trying to tell people, well, this is how I think. No, this is a fact. I've got evidence right here. Ravenscroft, along with a lot of other apps, are truly, they sound amazing. Absolutely wonderful, great piano samples, everything in between. But yet, if the accessibility isn't there, then what's the point of using it? What's the point of a blind person using it when you know they have so much potential? It's a shame that it's going this direction. And I think it's time that I speak up about it. I also think it's time that the blind community join me. Again, I'm not saying that they have to here. I want to be clear on this. If this is not your interest, you don't have to. This is not a obligation to join. But I'm just saying it's time that somebody does something about it. It speaks up. Because blind people are just as capable of making music as the sighted world is. And sorry to sound bragging here, but sometimes I think we are more capable. We can play music by ear. I'm sure sighted folks can too. But I'm sure the majority of them still rely on reading music, reading sheet music, and having it as a mandatory skill when conducting an orchestra or even being a music teacher. Oh, you have to learn to sight read. If you can't do that, we're not going to hire you for whatever position. Again, it's a shame, but it's reality these days. So the main point I want to just really bring home is that apps like Ravenscroft 275, there's also another one that I only recently came across. It's called BeatHawk. Some people may know that already. It's the same exact situation. I attempted to try and use BeatHawk. I even paid for the full app and just wanted to experiment with it. It's the same issues. You open the app, VoiceOver quits talking, you can't hear anything, you swipe left, right, up, down, doesn't tell you anything. And furthermore, just like with the Ravenscroft app, the MIDI notes aren't triggered. They're not registering on the hardware keyboard. So I, again, ask myself, what is the story behind this here? Can't they make it accessible to everyone? And where I really want to get serious is if anyone comes across these videos, app developers in particular, I want you guys to know that I totally get that it would be extra work for everyone here. Anyone making the apps, developing them, engineering them, the accessibility aspect is a lot of work. And I totally understand that it will not happen overnight. If it takes years, I understand it. But I really do sincerely wish more effort was being made to make them accessible for everyone, including visually impaired people like myself. Because as a musician who's been playing piano for 28 years, the Ravenscroft app, I keep coming back to this for a reason. It's one of the best sounding apps I have ever heard, ever come across, to where you preserve the elements of the piano. Everything from the damper resonance to sympathetic string resonance, staccato release trails, I think they're called. All of that stuff. Please, I am begging the development team and anyone else who knows something. Let the blind people access it as well. Let them be able to go into settings and change things like the reverb levels, the microphone positions. Now, don't quote me on this, but I do believe that from my research, the iOS version does have some limitations over the desktop version of the Ravenscroft piano app. But I believe that in the iOS version, well, both versions really, you can control reverb type and levels and microphone positions. Again, I could totally be wrong on these, but that's what I'm gathering. Let blind people be able to use those same controls, not having to rely on a sighted friend or spouse or whatever to help them. Because what if they're not around when they want to make music, huh? What if you run into a situation where no one sighted is around? They're alone in the house or alone in the studio or wherever. They want to make something using that app, and yet they can't access the controls because they can't see what's on screen. That's an issue for us. So I want to be able to use the app independently with VoiceOver, to have the ability to swipe, even if it's in landscape mode. That's the least of my problems. It changes the orientation and like that of the screen, but as long as we can still access menus and buttons and settings and icons and all that stuff, that's all I'm asking. I'm not even saying they have to change the visual orientation of the interface, but please make the buttons accessible, label them properly so that the blind people know what they're about to click on. That's really my main point I'm trying to drive home. Accessibility, accessibility, accessibility. Equal access for all, not purely just the sighted audience. Blind people have just as much capability, if not more, of producing, performing music, making music, whatever. So this is truly why I wanted to make this video, is just to present my thoughts, yes, but also experiences with inaccessible apps. That I think it's a shame they're moving in that direction, and I believe that if enough people speak up about it, we can make change. But someone has to start. And why not me? Okay? Why not me? So that's all for now, YouTubers. I'm hoping that this message resonated with some people, and inspired them. Because what I'm not trying to do, and certainly never intend to do, is to shame people, make them feel guilty, and also to point fingers and say, well, to criticize and say, I'm never getting your apps again. They're utter crap. They're a piece of fill in the blank. I never want to come out with anything like this. Discourage people from using it. Discourage sales. What I want to do is encourage the opposite. I want to build up, not bring down. I want to build up. But what we have to do as well is point out the issues. Point out that, yes, there's inaccessible apps out there. When I say that it's a shame it's going that direction, I'm not saying that the people who make them should be ashamed. What I'm trying to say is I'm ashamed of the trends. I'm not trying to point fingers at any one person. In fact, I can't. I don't know who develops the apps. I don't know who makes them. I don't know who produces them. So I'm merely trying to point out that more work really should be done, needs to be done, to make them accessible for blind folks, even people low vision, dyslexic. I think that those adaptations need to be at least taken into account. Anybody who likes to make music. So, that's my spiel for this video. I truly hope that you at least got something out of it, any viewers who are coming across these. So, like I said, Ravenscroft is a great, great sounding app, but Ravenscroft, among others, Beat Hawk, and I'm sure there's others out there that I don't even know of, but really, the accessibility needs to be taken into account more, I believe. So, until next time, everyone, hope everyone got something out of this, and hopefully I can then start making more videos featuring the apps that I've been talking about. Signing off.